How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the RUKO F11 Pro. It is a foldable 120-degree field of view, 5G Wi-Fi FPV, 90-degree remote tilt adjustable, 4K UHD camera, brushless motor, RC quadcopter ready to fly. So here we are taking a closer look at the RUKO F11 Pro. It is almost identical to the HGLRC F11 Pro 4K that I have done a review recently. The difference is the camera. The HGLRC has a 2-axis gimbal and also electronic image stabilization. The RUKO F11 does not. Now, I do not have the original HGLRC F11 to compare with, but I am thinking the previous version of the HGLRC F11 is the same as this quadcopter here, since RUKO also has the F11 GIM that comes with a 2-axis gimbal and also electronic image stabilization, which is the same as this HGLRC unit here. The RUKO F11 has a 4,600 plus global rating on Amazon, of which 79% are 5-star rating and 11% are 4-star rating. So people who have purchased this unit are very pleased with their purchases and have left positive reviews. So we have the 90-degree remote tilt adjustable 4K 5G Wi-Fi FPV camera in the front. Now it will record 720p videos and 4K photos to the phone app and thus to the camera roll of the device used, and it will record 2976 by 1680 pixel photos and videos to the SD card. The frame rate is 25 frames per second. The SD card slot is on the side of the quadcopter. It supports up to a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. Now, it does not specify, but a class 10 or higher micro SD card should be used. So we have the 1806 brushless motors. We got the landing legs in the front arm with the padded tip with a rubber tip, and we also have landing pads on the rear of the body. We have foldable staggered arm formation where the front arm is situated higher than the rear arms, and we also have foldable floppy props. We got status LED light indicator in the front arm as well as on the bottom of the rear arm. Now on the bottom of the quadcopter we have 2 optical flow sensor placeholders. Now, I'm not sure why there are 2. Maybe one is for an LED light and the other one is for the optical flow sensor. But these are placeholders and not the real optical flow sensors. On the top is the removable battery. Squeeze the locking buttons, one on each side, to remove the battery. So the battery is a 11.1 volt, 2500 milliamp lithium ion battery. Same exact battery as the HGLRC F11, so they are compatible. Now this unit came with 2 30-minute batteries for a total of 16 minutes of combined flight time. Now long press the push button on and off switch to turn it on to check the battery level, and another long press to turn it off. And that is exactly how the quadcopter will power on and off as well. So to put the battery back in, match up the ports. It only goes in one direction. Push in and it locks into place. The remote controller feels good in the hands with the flip out hand grips. Now the gimbals, they are good enough. Now we have the flip out spring-loaded phone clip. It will fit my iPhone 6 Plus with a minimalistic case perfectly, so that'll be the biggest phone this phone clip will accommodate. Now there's a pair of antennas that fold out as well, but they are just for looks. There's no antenna wires running up the antenna. The actual antenna is inside of the remote controller. On the left shoulder, we have a rotary dial, and it is to change speeds. There are 3 speeds. We have a photo button, short press to take a photo, and long press to enter the trim function in the non-GPS mode. On the right shoulder is the camera tilt adjustment rotary dial, adjust from 0 to 90 degrees, and the dedicated video button, semi-long press to start and stop video recording. In the front, we have some status LED lights to indicate GPS, speed, video, and headless mode, and also some power status indicator lights. We have the headless mode button, short press to turn headless mode on or off, long press to turn GPS on or off. Here's the return home button. Press it and the quadcopter will come back and land where it took off from. The power push button on and off switch, short press to turn on, and short press followed by a long press to power off. Here's the 1 key to take off and 1 key to land button. Short press after arming the motors to take off, and short press while in the air to land. Long press for emergency stop. Both sticks to the top and in will initiate the compass calibration. Both sticks to the top and out will calibrate the gyros of the quadcopter. Both sticks to the bottom and in will arm and disarm the motors of the quadcopter. All right, so let's power on the quadcopter. Let the ESCs sing their song. Power on the remote control. Okay, up and down on the throttle stick completes the binding process. So every time you fly one of these GPS quadcopters, you will have to calibrate the compass. So to calibrate the compass, both sticks to the top and in will initiate the compass calibration. Now, first is the horizontal compass calibration. So rotate the quadcopter horizontally until the rear lights go solid. All it requires is 1 rotation, as you can see here. The rear lights have gone solid. So horizontal compass calibration is now complete. Next is the vertical compass calibration. So hold the quadcopter with the nose down and rotate until the front lights go solid. Okay, there you go. The front lights have gone solid. And also, all it required was just 1 rotation, but I did an extra rotation just to be sure. So now compass calibration is complete. Place the quadcopter on a flat level surface. Now it's time for the gyro calibration, and to do gyro calibration, both sticks to the top and out will calibrate the gyros. Now gyro calibration is complete, but as you can see, the lights are still blinking all around. That means the necessary GPS has not been acquired. And as you can see, I am unable to arm the motors at this time in GPS mode. But once the lights do go solid, that means all of the necessary GPS has been acquired and you are able to arm the motors and take off. But you are still able to take off in the non-GPS mode, so turn off the GPS and you are able to arm the motors and take off. Long pressing the headless mode button turns the GPS off and we are in the non-GPS mode. Here we are able to arm the motors and take off. But you will not, however, have features like, let me turn it off. You will not, however, have features like GPS return home, so don't press the return home button while flying in this mode. So land the quadcopter and wait for the lights to go solid and take off in the GPS mode to establish the new home point. Alright guys, so here we go. We are out in the field and I have already done the calibration process. So the compass has been calibrated as well as the gyros, and the lights are solid now, so I have acquired all of the necessary GPS, so I am able to arm in GPS mode. So first thing we want to do is go ahead and go into our phone app, and I'm going to be using my iPad because I tried using my iPhone and the FPV video feed just freezes, so I'm using my iPad this time. So go into the settings and connect to the Wi-Fi network, which is called the SJ GPS Pro Wi-Fi network. And I'm also using the F11 Pro app instead of the F11 GPS Pro app. So let me go into the interface. It's the same app that I used for the F11 Pro 4K quadcopter. So here we go into the interface, and I have Wi-Fi FPV and screen record, and there we go. Screen is recording. That's how it looks like, and we do have Wi-Fi FPV. All right, so let's see, take a photo here, and it is downloading the picture. So it takes a little while because it does download a 4K photo. So let's see if it works with the hard remote. And there you go, works with the hard remote as well. So let's make our rounds and take some photos with this thing. So position it right here. Oops, changed it. There we go. Takes a little while, and here we go again. Takes quite a while. There you go. The video quality looks nice from the iPad, and one right here. And since it doesn't have a gimbal, I can point it towards the ground. If it had a gimbal, it will stay horizontal no matter how you tilt it. So there you go, taking some photos. All right, so taking some photos. I'm gonna hit the video button on the hard remote, and it is starting to take a video. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my iPad right here. We'll come back to that in a little bit, do some FPV. So let's go ahead and check out the quadcopter. And the remote control is beeping, and the light right here is blinking as well, the camera light, telling me that it is recording a video. All right, so let's go ahead and arm the motors and hit the 1 key to take off. You need to arm the motors first. So there you go, taking off, and it comes to a hover. Nice. Let's see what speed we are in. We are in speed number 2, looks like. So speed number 1, go forward a little bit, and the breeze is kind of kicking in here. So there you go, come to a hover right there, and the breeze is coming in from this way, and look at that, holding position. So let's get it angry, and let go. Goes right back. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and establish our home point. So I'm gonna go ahead and land it to establish our new home point. So raising up in an altitude just a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit the 1 key to take off and land button, and I can still redirect this path while it's coming down, and it's coming down pretty slow, so that is good. and it hovers right above a little bit before it touches down, and the motor shut off automatically. So I'm going to place it right in the middle of the landing pad. So this will be our new return home point. I initially took off from the table, so if I did a return home, it'll come back and land on the table, which I don't want. I want it to come back and land on the landing pad. So we're going to take off from there. So let's go ahead and arm the motors and hit the 1 key to take off. Oops. Oops. Arm. There you go. I hit the button too quick, I believe. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and check it out here. First things first, let's go ahead and check out the camera tilt ability. Speed number 1, fighting against the wind. Okay, leave it right there. And let me see here. All right, so tilting the camera and just holding the dial. So it just has a 1-speed servo for the camera tilt, but it seems to be nice and smooth and pretty slow, so that is really nice. It is not proportional, it just has 1 speed, and that is really nice. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the speed number 1. Full pitch, full yaw, and there you go. That is speed number 1. Cruising. So if you want to take some nice smooth videos, you want to do it in speed number 1. Okay, let's go to speed number 2. Speed number 2. Also, you see this blue light, it is solid, indicating that is in speed number 2. When it is off, it is in speed number 1. So here's a full pitch, and now full yaw. Alright, so that is speed number 2. Now let's go to speed number 3, and the blue light will be blinking to indicate that it is in speed number 3, and that is a full pitch and full yaw. Speed number 3, and the breeze is kicking in from behind me, and it is fighting against the breeze. So that is speed number 3, and going with the breeze, full pitch. Pretty decent. Brushless motors, 1806. All right, pretty nice. And letting go, and it comes to a hover and holds its position. Now let's go into the headless mode. Okay, pushing it forward. Apparently that is forward. All right, in a spin. So that is headless mode. I'm gonna pull it back in a spin. You know what, I might be in beginner mode. Let's see if I have a geofencing. Yeah, I have a geofencing there. So if you are in beginner mode, you are not able to go beyond, I believe it is 30 meters. So going towards the left, going towards the right in a full yaw spin. So you want to get out of beginner mode. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the headless mode and bring the quadcopter back. So you're going to have to do that in the phone app. And let's go to the phone app. And where is the settings here on this app? Okay, that should be the settings here. And beginner mode is on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and increase all of its values except for the return altitude, 20 meters. So 1500 meters and 120 meters in height. I'm going to hit save, and it is set successfully. So let me go back to the Wi-Fi, and there you go. I've got Wi-Fi FPV coming towards me. Pretty decent Wi-Fi FPV with this app. Yeah, when I was using the other app with my phone, I was just frozen in time. So this is actually my second time flying this thing. I was testing it out with my phone, and look at that. Very nice Wi-Fi FPV. Woohoo! Passing by me, turning around. Digs into the ground on the turn, and look at that. Man, this thing is nice. Okay, so here we go. Coming towards me and turning around. So we checked out headless mode and speeds 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and check out the return home feature. So let's push it out and let go. Comes to a hover, and let's see if I can go beyond the geofencing this time. Yeah, there's no geofencing. So you want to go beyond the geofencing, you need to turn off beginner mode. So I'm gonna raise it up in altitude just right around there and let it hover for a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit the return to home button. Looks like it's turning around, and it is going up in altitude to 25 meters, the preset altitude. Coming back, head first, looks like, and turning around and coming down. Nice. Looks like it's gonna get pretty close to the takeoff spot. Let's see where it comes down to. And does it? Yes, it kind of slows down. It doesn't hold, but it holds position right above the landing spot, and then lands very softly, which is really nice. And the motors turn off. Look at that, almost inches away from where it took off from. Very nice. All right, so let's go ahead and arm the motors once again and take off from the ground. Doesn't want to do the 1 key to take off for some reason. Look at that. I'm going to manually take off. Okay, so let's see if I still have FPV here. Yep, looks like I still got FPV, and I'm pushing it out. And let's hold it right there, and this time I want to check out the fail-safe return home. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the remote control. So hopefully everything is still recording. I'm not sure what's going to happen to the DVR recording if I turn off the remote control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the DVR recording just to save it. Okay, I have saved that clip, and screen is still recording, so I got that. I'm going to go ahead and re-hit the DVR. Okay, it is recording once again, and now I'm going to turn off the remote control. So let's go ahead and turn off the remote control. Short and long press. Okay, turn the remote controller off. And what is it doing? Yep, it's turning around. Yep, rising up in altitude and heading its way back. Very nice. Yep, very nice quadcopter, guys. And even though this thing doesn't have a gimbal or EIS, the video quality looks pretty nice. And it is coming down once again. Same behavior as the manual return to home button. Slows down right there and gradually comes down, hovers inches away above the ground, and slowly lands itself, and the motors turn off. Awesome. Very nice. Okay, so put it back in the center. Now I'm gonna have to turn on the remote control. So turning it back on, I'm gonna have to do the throttle up and down to rebind. Let's see. I don't hear any beeps because I've turned the remote control on and off. So is it still recording? Looks like it is still recording video. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. Or can I stop it? So now it's recording. So somehow that occurs when you turn the remote controller off. The DVR says it's still recording, but it is not. Okay, I stopped recording. Okay, so be careful with that. So good thing I saved the first segment of this video. Okay, I'm gonna start the recording once again. All right, so let's go ahead and arm the motors once again. So we're gonna have to do that one more time because I'm gonna check out the fail-safe return to home one more time and see if I can retake control as it's coming back from a fail-safe. So I'm gonna place it right there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the remote control. Short and a long press turns it off, and while it's coming back, I'm gonna re-engage. So it's turning around and it's rising up in altitude and it is heading back. Once it starts to come back, I'm gonna turn it on and up and down on the throttle stick, and there you go. The fail-safe return to home has exited, and I have retaken control of the quadcopter while it's heading back from a fail-safe return to home process. Very nice. This thing is awesome. The throttle stick is a little sticky though. The gimbal is not very good. It's still kind of a toyish kind of gimbal, so it does get kind of stuck there. As you can see, it's rubbing up against the side there, the ball. All right, let's see if we can do some FPV. Okay, what speed am I in? I should be in speed number 2. So there you go. Nice smooth turn around myself. Oh yeah, very nice. Turning around. And there I am. Slight turn to the right. Coming towards me. Oh yeah. Really nice. Love it when you can FPV like this. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, letting go of the sticks, and it comes to a hover. All right, so we do have a point of interest feature, so I'm going to place it right above myself, sort of. And what you want to do is hit the photo button and the video button simultaneously. Am I recording a video? Yeah, it says I'm recording a video, but as you can see, my remote control is not sending off the beeps like before. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video. It says it's recording though. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it again. Okay, I stopped the video completely, and I'm gonna re-engage the video. Okay, so it is restarting the video. All right, so I'm gonna hit the photo and video button simultaneously. Okay, and then move away from the point of interest 2 to 100 meters. So I'm gonna place it right about there. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go ahead and re-hit the photo and the video buttons, and that should initiate the circle me or point of interest. It turns around and it starts to do its point of interest. That is nice. There you go. And the wind is kind of kicking in, but it is fighting the wind. Maybe it is showing a little bit of a wobble because it is fighting the wind. So we might see some wobbling on the video because there's no electronic image stabilization, or it does not have any gimbal. So this was the spot. So it is circling around that spot. All right. So you are still able to control the quadcopter, like altitude, go down in altitude, and go up in altitude. But any movement on the right stick will exit you from the point of interest, which is kind of bad because you cannot readjust the radius of the point of interest. You will exit the point of interest, but you can yaw. And check it out, I'm doing some yaw while you are doing the point of interest, so that is pretty cool. All right, there you go, point of interest. Okay, so to exit the point of interest, just move the stick on the right and it is holding its position now. As you can see, it's kind of tilted that way because the wind is blowing from this side, so it's maintaining its position, fighting the wind by itself. That is just super awesome. All right, so let's see how far we can go with this thing. Go up in altitude here, and I guess I'm in low voltage. It says 1 low voltage. Let's see. I'm gonna up in speed, and that's going against the wind. Yep, I just hit a geofence, guys. So the geofencing on the first phase of low voltage is 100 feet. So I just hit geofencing, so I'm not able to go beyond this radius. So one more time, going this way, I should hit it right about there. Yep, 100 feet away, geofence. All right, so that is the first phase of low voltage. So if I was flying further away and the low voltage return to home kicked in, that first phase, it will return and it will hover within this 100-meter radius and position itself there, and you can still fly around. There's no beeping or anything going on to warn me that it is in low voltage, except for the fact that it has a geofencing which I cannot cross, and if you were away beyond the 100-meter geofencing, it will return, so you will know that it is in low voltage, and the phone app will tell you that you are, and it says on the top there 1 low voltage. I'm still recording and I'm still hitting the geofencing, so I can only fly around right about here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the GPS, and I'm gonna go down in speed and just fly around right here, nice and smooth. See how smooth I can fly. Now I'm not sure if the return home and all that feature will work in the non-GPS mode, so I'm gonna get back into the GPS mode just in case. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the GPS mode back on. Okay, GPS mode is turned back on. There you go. It momentarily kind of halted there. All right, and do some FPV. Nice. Now can I take a photo while I'm flying and recording? I'm not sure about that. I don't think you can. And it is fighting the breeze and moving very gently and slowly in speed number 1. Speed number 2, and it is able to fight the wind a little bit better. I am moving now. Turn around. So nice and smooth in speed number 1, but it is not able to fight the wind effectively. So you want to put it in speed number 2 if you have a little breeze going on like I do right now. That going against the wind. A little wobbling there because of the wind, but it's making good ground. Now going with the wind, and there you go. Okay, so we've been flying in the first phase of low voltage for a while, and we are still flying. So there's a pretty long time period between the first phase and the second phase, and hopefully there is a second phase where it comes back and lands itself. So we're gonna fly until it does that. But you might want to watch yourself and limit your flying in this first phase of low voltage time period, because you don't want to always wait until the second phase. You drain the battery out too low. But I do believe it still has some battery life left, even though it hits the critical low voltage return to home phase. So that's kind of sad that the initial low voltage return to home kicks in so early, because look at the amount of flight time I have in the first phase, and I can't go beyond the 100 feet geofencing. It would be nice to have adjustment parameters for the first phase, or when the first phase kicks in, at a particular percentage of battery life. That way you can adjust to your own setting and fly the way you want to fly. Maybe you might want to still capture some videos and stuff, you know, 100 meters away, 200 meters away, but you are not able to do that because of this geofencing. Yeah, which is unfortunate, because look at the amount of battery life you are just wasting within the 100 feet of geofencing radius. But this thing flies really nice. Speed number 3. So let's do some sport flying here. I don't think any of the features work while you are in the low voltage phase, like circle me and follow me and all that kind of stuff. But look at that, man, this thing is so smooth and it flies really nice. Fighting the wind, I can hear some prop wash because the wind's blowing pretty hard now. Later on it's supposed to blow even harder, so I'm glad I got out here in time to fly this thing. Look at that cloud. That means there's a lot of wind all around. Yeah, very nice. Dipping down a little bit around the turns. So basically this is the same quad as the one with the 2-axis gimbal and the electronic image stabilization, but it's the previous version of that. And it does have a very good rating on Amazon, like I said. So if you want to check it out, link is down below. But you might also want to check out the one that has the gimbal too. And I think RUKO also has that one. It's called the F11 Pro GIM, standing for gimbal. So that'll be, I think, the counterpart, identically the same with the HGLRC F11 4K Pro with the 2-axis gimbal and the EIS. So this one doesn't have optical flow sensor as well. And when I tested the F11 4K Pro, mine didn't have an optical flow sensor. But if you are going to be flying indoors a lot and you want the indoor position hold without GPS position hold, then I suggest you get the one that says S, That's what some people are saying. The S version has the optical flow sensor and the regular version does not. But you know, I never flown indoors and I don't recommend that you do fly indoors. And look at that, it is coming down by itself, looks like. Yep. So there you go, that will be the critical phase of low voltage return home, where it just comes back immediately and lands itself. It landed away from the center of the landing pad just a little bit, but that is still very good. All right, so there you go guys, my review and demo flight of the RUKO F11 Pro. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day and we'll see you again next time. Stop the video. Screen record. There you go. All right. Turn off the quad. Turn off the remote. And turn off the camera.